Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. A new Ripple Insights blog written by Ripple employee Brianne Madigan is titled The Sign of a Stabilizing Market, XRP Utility. And I want to share this with you. This is fascinating because she talks about the concept of exponential growth around transformational technologies. It takes a while for people to figure things out, and in the short term, perhaps people overestimate the implications of transformational technology, but in the long term, maybe not so much. Maybe they undershoot conceptually where they think it's going to go. So I want to run through that. I've also got an update on this. SBI Holdings offers XRP as shareholders' benefit. That the news that would be occurring broke at some point, I want to say within the last month or so. Maybe it was a little longer. I can't remember exactly, but I have a brand new update on that today I'll be sharing with you. But before we go any further, if you would please ever so delicately tap the like button, I would definitely appreciate it. It helps with the YouTube algorithm that I do not know how it works. I'm not convinced anybody knows how it works, but if you're willing to do that, just know that I am endlessly grateful. And also, if you haven't yet done so, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel, the Moon Lambo-ish channel on all of YouTube. Now, this story I did get from XRP Crypto Wolf, so shout out to you, and thank you very much, my friend, for sending this my way. And again, it's written by Brianne Madigan. Here she is on Twitter. She's in charge of global institutional markets at Ripple. And so let's go ahead and dive in. So here's a headline actually from AMB Crypto. It covers mostly that piece, and I want to run through this. And they titled this, XRP's price stagnant, but Ripple expects growth in the long run. Ripple announced in its Q4 report a growth of 550% by its on-demand liquidity platform between the last two quarters of 2019. Ripple's USP was also brought to light when the Secretary of the U.S. Treasury, Steve Mnuchin, spoke about the benefits of cross-border systems at the 2020 World Economic Forum. And that was definitely newsworthy, and I enjoyed covering that because there was this understanding from the Secretary of the U.S. Treasury that as far as cryptocurrencies can be used to help move money around the world, he made it clear that he sees value in that without specifically citing Ripple and XRP. So conceptually, it's basically an approved use case. And I understand that the SEC still needs to ideally note XRP officially as not a security because it sure as hell is not. But still, can you imagine this sort of speak from Steve Mnuchin and then things don't go the way we think they were, especially since legitimately XRP absolutely is not a security. Now, following the positive statement from the Secretary, Ripple stated that its global network, RippleNet, contributed to driving the usage of XRP. It added in a blog post, and this is the part by Brianne Madigan, banks and payment providers are joining RippleNet to leverage liquidity on demand for cross-border payments as an alternative to traditional pre-funding and improving processing efficiency. And to be clear, this is an official post by a Ripple employee, Brianne Madigan, who is higher up, I would say, and she cites banks and payment providers are joining RippleNet. So it's just a matter of time before you see a bunch of those banks, specifically banks, utilizing in a public fashion XRP as a bridge currency, moving money around the world. To me, it's inevitable, and we've already had the most notable instance of a thumbs up. Yes, we're doing this from a bank would be Interbank Peru, who again publicly stated absolutely they started with Xcurrent when it was known as Xcurrent. It's now just widely known as RippleNet, but they are absolutely going to begin using the on-demand liquidity portion, which of course utilizes XRP as a bridge currency. It's coming. Ripple's on-demand liquidity performed well in Latin America, with MoneyGram recently revealing the movement of more than 10% of payment transactions between U.S. and Mexico. Even though trading digital assets has been considered a speculator's market, Ripple noted that the market shifted its outlook last year with major players like JP Morgan and Fidelity entering the field. And of course, yes, that's absolutely true. Bigger and bigger names continue to enter the space, adding credence to the idea that, yes, there is indeed staying power for this asset class and blockchain as a whole. And Brad Garlinghouse has absolutely stated, where did he state this? There's something he said that's in my head right now. I want to say that it was at the Economic Club of New York when he spoke there publicly. I could be mistaken, but I think that's where it was. And he was just talking about how other asset classes, people are absolutely speculating. That's what's happening with the stock market, with gold, silver, whatever it is. Pick your commodity. And you said it's just absolutely no different with the case of cryptocurrencies. Yes, people are speculating, and people are going to speculate. This is just another asset class in which people can do what they're already going to do. And so I think the asset class gets a bit of grief is because there's simply not enough utility surrounding that. And that's a fair critique in my mind. I think that's perfectly reasonable to bring up. But that's not to say that there isn't any utility, and it's not to say that the utility of actual cryptocurrencies will increase over time. It absolutely will increase over time because there is indeed something to this. And you can do things with cryptocurrencies. You can have business models that otherwise would not be capable of existing thanks to cryptocurrencies. XRP is the most prominent cryptocurrency that's actually getting used in the real world. People will keep speculating around it as a result, and eventually we will go into new price discovery, and that's why I think that the all-time high you saw a little under $4 in 2018, it'll be a blip on the radar when this is all said and done. Now, I do want to, since I said something like that, I don't say anything to hype, I'm just sharing my honest opinions. So this is a non-hype channel, but I got to be honest, that is what I believe. And I also need to state, since I just said that, I am not a financial advisor, okay? No financial background whatsoever, and you should not buy or sell because I said that. That is not my intent to get people jazzed up. I'm just sharing an honest opinion. And so moving on here now, here's another quote from the piece. These new institutional entrances, specifically for hedging instruments such as futures/derivatives, plays a big role bringing new investors into the space, thereby further stabilizing markets. See, look, we're talking about maturation. In the past year, derivatives trading in digital assets recorded clear growth. And is it any surprise? It's just part of the maturation of the asset class, and you're going to keep seeing these things. Of course, with the advent of crypto futures, of course, including XRP, and you're going to see all sorts of more stuff, ETFs, all that it's coming en masse to crypto, especially in particular with those cryptocurrencies that will have staying power. I think you'll see that's where the smart money is ultimately going to rally and set up those types of things. Ripple expected traditional investors to see greater opportunities to trade digital assets with the growth of hedging products, reducing risks and generating higher trading volumes. Ripple's effort to engage the traditional financing sector with the crypto space was visible as it saw growth potential in the sector of lending and borrowing of digital assets and stated that it was now a $5 billion industry. And that part I did report in a previous video, which I think is absolutely noteworthy. Now, despite the growth of its various platforms in the crypto space on the whole, XRP's price has remained low. The ODL platform has been proactively processing payments, even though with less volume, but that has not impacted the XRP market. The coin is valued at 24.06 cents at press time with a market cap of $10.51 billion. However, and I want to say, from my perspective, all of the short-term price action it's neat to follow. It's fun. We're in the space. We're tracking this for a reason. We're all, if you're listening to a video like this, look, this is just something that, for whatever reason, it caught us. And I think that we all realize, I think if I could speak for us broadly, I'm sure this is true for many people listening, we feel like we found something special here that the rest of the world doesn't know about. And so the short-term price action, while it's lower, to me, I just see this as an opportunity. That's absolutely the way that I view this here. But it's not going to stay like this, because if you look at the way people are treating XRP, they're just not parsing it out based on its actual utility. And that just speaks to the nascency of the asset class as a whole. But check out this quote now. Ripple has hinted at exponential growth in the long term. Here's a quote from Brianne Madigan from that Ripple piece. It's on the official Ripple website. XRP has boasted tremendous growth as a global payment asset in the last year or two, as elaborated above in this article. However, the growth potential of transformational technologies tends to unfold exponentially. Therefore, the markets tend to overestimate the impact in the short term, but underestimate it in the long run. And then she writes, as institutional grade infrastructure continues to be built and real world problems are increasingly solved using digital assets like XRP, the tipping point to critical mass adoption is constantly moving closer. Ah, yes, truer words have never been spoken. And so that's why, from my perspective, it's just all good things in time, my friends. But absolutely here. But I love this line, though. There's two lines that I like most out of this whole article on the right at the tail end. The growth potential of transformational technologies tends to unfold exponentially. And so even if it feels like things from a price perspective, maybe there's a lot of sideways trading action. That's kind of normal, unfortunately. I know we don't enjoy it. But eventually you hit this point where there's an increase in value, which is different than price. And both will increase at an exponential rate, because on the value side, you're talking about, a couple things. There's going to be exponential growth in terms of the value of RippleNet. And there's going to be exponential growth with the digital asset XRP as it continues to be adopted. And developers build on top of the ledger are what's going to push that ultimately. My other favorite line here, I mean, you got to love this. The tipping point to critical mass adoption is constantly moving closer. So I will sit here and be patient. All right, next, SBI Holdings offers XRP as shareholders' benefit. Japan's largest bank, SBI Holdings, released its financial results, which noted increasing the use of the digital asset XRP. The report, released on January 31st, stated that XRP will be added to its shareholders' benefit option and listed special offers for holders who held over 101,000 shares. The largest bank in Japan had also prepared an expansion plan that included a revised business law and enforcing the Fund Settlement Act, scheduled for sometime in April. Following this, the company aimed to begin the Consumer Financial Division services. The report elaborated on holdings of some shareholders and stated that going forward, each company listed on the SBI Group will be added to shareholder benefits. Now, SBI has been making crucial announcements in the past couple of days, which of course I've reported on. On January 30th, it announced a collaboration with Japan's second largest bank, SMBC, to build a financial services platform for businesses and individuals using a blockchain. The second largest bank will invest in MoneyTap to increase the utilization of DLT, distributed ledger technology, within the trade finance sector and personal bank remittance sector. And that is substantial for us as XRP holders, because MoneyTap absolutely will utilize XRP, which was an interesting development when we found out about that some months ago, because the way that MoneyTap was being positioned initially was purely for domestic purposes, but they clearly have bigger plans for that. And hey, bridging money with XRP, I am all for it. Okay, it's going to increase liquidity. Liquidity begets liquidity, and I think price action will follow. That's my opinion. But that is it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.